Many players have achieved greatness, been admitted to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, and much more. But how many of those have been good at three-point shooting? It's a skill that only a handful of players have mastered. Stay tuned as we look at the top 10 NBA players with the most three-pointers in the last 20 years. At number 10, Joe Johnson with 1,978 three-pointers. Joe Johnson is known as one of the best shooters of the last few decades because he could shoot whenever he wanted and from wherever with a high level of consistency. Johnson, known as ISO Joe, could consistently make good shots from beyond the arc. Standing at a towering 6 feet 7 inches and weighing 240 pounds, he could push off and create space. Most of the shooter's professional career was spent as either a first or second scorer. Johnson made nearly 2,000 three-point shots throughout his career, a solid return for a shot maker. Even though Johnson was, without a doubt, one of the best outside scorers of the last 20 years, he's rarely brought up when talking about the best scorers of that time. This is unfair, considering he makes it to the list. Next up, Vince Carter with 2,014 three-pointers. Vince Carter helped the Toronto Raptors become one of the NBA's most popular teams. Also, the best dunker of all time, made history in Toronto by becoming the first player in the franchise's history to win the Rookie of the Year award after averaging 18.3 PPG in his first season. He quickly improved into a reliable three-point shooter who could make outside shots because of his deep range. Carter's career took off once he proved to be more than just a dunker, and he soon developed into an impact scorer. The shooter's a lock for the Hall of Fame. He's made 2 All-NBA teams and 8 All-Star teams by being a consistent three-point shooter, averaging close to 37% from three-point range and having a considerably long career. Carter's name needs to be mentioned among the most consistent three-point shooters of the last 20 years. Moving on to Jason Terry with 2,112 three-pointers. Jason the Jet Terry's three-point shooting was the backbone of his professional success. The guard was a key asset for Dirk Nowitzki's Dallas Mavericks team, on which he shot 38.1% from the outside. In every game, 2 defenders were always after the German, so Terry had to switch to scoring from outside the box, where he did well. A 38.1% shooting average is an amazing accomplishment. Terry was a major shot maker as well. Throughout his career, the guard had to make plays from the outside and finish the job by swishing through buckets. He was frequently left to his own devices, but he was capable and confident enough to complete it. Terry ranks 8th on this list with nearly 2,100 three-pointers made over the last 20 years, followed by LeBron James with 2,145 three-pointers. Even though LeBron James has been criticized for years for his inconsistent shooting from deep, he has shown great improvement in this area in recent seasons. The Kings' three-point percentage currently sits at 34.6%, but he has still made almost 2,100 attempts from deep. James is a versatile player who's been able to keep playing thanks to his willingness to experiment with different strategies and the renewed focus on three-point shooting in basketball. Honestly, LeBron has to be one of the greatest in the NBA at making three-pointers from 35 feet and beyond. He can pull up effortlessly because of his tremendous strength and make deep shots look like child's play. The King is a phenomenal shooter in the zone, but has trouble with three-pointers when he's out of it. Regardless of this, LeBron is ranked high in the all-time list of three-pointers made, an achievement that's proof of his perseverance and adaptability, but most of all, his longevity. 6th is Damian Lillard with 2,149 three-pointers. Damian Lillard is one of the best shooters of all time because he's just so lethal from the range, but he does not have the highest percentage from beyond the arc, even though he has tried more than 5,700 three-point shots in the last decade. Lillard has no problem taking shots, even at a crucial point in the game, and can make difficult three-pointers from as far out as 35 feet. Consider how many games the Trailblazers have won thanks to a late three-pointer by Lillard. Remember that Dame ended the Dwight Howard era in Houston and the Paul George experiment in Oklahoma City. The point guard's 37% three-point shooting isn't terrible. Considering his other offensive options, Lillard has already made more three-pointers than anybody else in the last 20 years, putting him in the top 10 all-time. Next is Jamal Crawford with 2,180 three-pointers. It should come as no surprise that Jamal Crawford is a shot creator. He was not the type of player who would wait at the three-point line for his point guard to feed him shots, but the opposite. It was common for Crawford to attempt to take a shot on his own, even if it meant taking outside shots most of the time. The shooting guard is also considered a forerunner in flailing to get free throws and was successful at drawing fouls. Crawford's career shooting percentage has been below 35% for the past 2 decades, but he was still a reliable shooter. He took a lot of three-pointers, which is why he made so many of them, but no one ever doubted the gifted scorer Amazingly, the three-time Sixth Man of the Year is ranked 5th on this list, followed by Ray Allen with 2,274 three-pointers. It was unthinkable that a shooting guard could make more threes than Reggie Miller, which is why Ray Allen's accomplishment was truly historic. Thanks to his consistent game-winning jump shot, Ray made over 2,200 three-pointers for the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, and the Miami Heat. To make sure that he could make a jump shot under pressure at any time during a game, Allen reportedly practiced hundreds of shots per week. His corner three in Game 6 saved the Miami Heat from elimination and made him a valuable member of the Celtics' eventual NBA championship run. Allen is one of the best three-point shooters of all time, ranking 4th in the last 20 years, and had a 40% shooting from deep. Moving on to Kyle Korver with 2,450 three-pointers. Kyle Korver is unrivaled in the history of the NBA regarding his ability to go off screens and make jump shots. After being selected with the 51st overall choice in the 2003 NBA Draft, Korver had an incredibly long career, playing into his late 30s. Because of his mediocre athleticism and reputation as a one-dimensional player, nobody had high hopes for Korver's development into a valuable player. The small forward/shooting guard relied heavily on his shooting ability to advance his career. Since Korver was one of the best shooters in the history of the NBA, even when moving off the ball, he was always a threat regardless. He ranks 10th in three-point percentage and 5th place for all time in threes made, which is pretty amazing for a player with a career average of 25.3 mpg. Then there's James Harden with 2,599 three-pointers. James Harden might not be the best three-point shooter in the NBA, but he's one of the most efficient. The Beard can create his shot from wherever he is on the court, and he's known to draw double teams from the other team. Whenever he gets pushed beyond the three-point arc, he's usually forced to pass the ball to his teammates. But this is rarely effective because of the step-back three-point shooting and dribbling movements he's developed as the cornerstones of his game. Regardless of what the crowd may think, Harden will never stop making three-pointers, even if he draws up fouls. Even with the new Harden rules, the usually flailing shooting guard continues to cause havoc. When given the opportunity, the Beard can get himself open for a three-point shot and make no mistake about sinking it. There's just one player in the last 20 years who has made more threes than James. At number 1, we have Stephen Curry with 3,126 three-pointers. The player with the record for three-pointers made is also the best shooter of all time. Ray Allen, who retired in 2014 and is currently in second place, has made fewer three-pointers than Stephen Curry. With his unrestricted range and long-distance shooting skills, Stephen fundamentally changed the game for the foreseeable future. Since a score of 3 is better than a score of 2, teams are hurrying to implement this strategy. Steph has taken an average of 8.8 three-point shots per game throughout his career, suggesting he may have the best three-point shot percentage in the history of the NBA. Steph's three-point percentage is a staggering 42.7%. He's the greatest shooter of all time, period. That's a wrap for this video. Did you like our pick of the top 10 NBA players? Did we forget any? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and we'll see you at the next one.